The last time these guys met, Soup found the win. The time before that, Soup found the win. And in Genesis Retold, Soup found the win. This is a very heavily favored Soup matchup. But Mosca's looking so good this week. He just took out Magic, who honestly looked really good as well. There was nothing between the two in their series. It just happened to be a 3-0. Well, let's take a look at the draft and see what they're going to play for game number 1 and for the rest of the series, because it's a best of 7 now. And that changes things quite a bit. Off to the draft. Well. The draft is in. The gods are picked. Our very first matchup is going to be on Budapest. But let's break down the draft and talk about exactly what's happened here. Mosca bans out Kronos and Huitzilopochtli. Soup says, I do not believe I can beat your Poseidon. Mosca's Poseidon has a 100% win rate in this tournament. I don't think he's lost with it. And the fact that he beat one of the quote-unquote worst matchups for Poseidon against none other than I Am Magic, I can understand Soup saying, you know what, let's just get rid of that Poseidon there. He also bans out Susanoo. John Arbit is in the chat. He is in disbelief. Just become Mosca, and you too will be able to beat Gaia. If I was a Poseidon player right now, I would study that. I would study that game down to the nth detail to understand what is going on there. All right. Mosca picks Tsukiyomi first and foremost. He loves his cavalry gods. Tsukiyomi is Poseidon 2.0 in a lot of different ways, more ways than one. Soup then says, thank you very much. I will take Nuar and Gaia. Mosca then takes Amaterasu and Isis. I understand the Amaterasu pick, but the Isis one that early on against Soup, I don't think Soup is picking Egyptian in this series. Soup grabs himself Odin, Quetzalcoatl, two very highly prioritized picks for Soup. Mosca then takes Zeus and Set. Soup grabs himself Freya and Tezcatlipoca. Mosca then takes himself the Shenong and Thor. Soup rounds out his draft with his final Chinese god, Fuxi and Loki. Mosca takes Shenong finally. I'm a little bit surprised we didn't see Soup grabbing the Shenong. I think Shenong is in an incredibly good place in this current meta. I think it's an incredibly powerful god. Not what happened. Our first matchup is going to be an interesting one. Zeus versus Nuar. The bands are the ones in red. Everything else is picked. If they've got like a sort of, I don't know, latte-ish border, they are picked. So Zeus versus Nuar is a matchup that I don't think I've seen very often. I don't think that Mosca would have played this matchup all too often unless he's been practicing versus Kavoth. Kavoth likes to play Nuar on this map, I think. Or he has. There's some really... another player who played this. Izumato loves playing Nuar on this map. Izumato loves the Nuar. There is a really nice opening with dropping your creation, moving your villagers to both sides, building those docks. and potentially looking for an early game villager kill to boot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is finals time. I hope you are prepared because there is a lot on the line right now. Let's jump into game number 1 on the map Budapest. Strap in. Let's check it out. It's finals time, ladies and gentlemen. Left side of the map, Mosca. Right side of the map, Husk, Suppe. Noir versus Zeus. It's the second time for Suppe to make it to the finals in this event thus far. He dropped a recon in disastrous fashion, losing 4-0. I believe this is Mosca's, correct me if I'm wrong, Twitch chat. YouTube chat. I believe this is Mosca's first final appearance. It's his first best of 7, and it's his first taste of potential Athens participation. We do see the creation getting dropped from Suppe, but I don't know what he used it on. Oh, he's got the villagers right at home, so he doesn't go for the central dock. This is very, very different. He's going for a very quick Kwafu chieftain, and I think, I could be wrong, let the games begin. That there is Mountainous Might, and this here is the Suppe Cheese Master 9000. Kwafu hero is... No, never mind. Never mind. I thought he was going to send the Kwafu forward to start harassing the villagers in here. If he gets in here fast enough and hits the gold, then guess what? Mosca can't get a temple up. Can't get to the next age. Never mind. Oh, wait. I take it back. It's not never mind. He is going for it. The Kwafu is across. He is going for it. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it wouldn't be a Suppe grand fight. He did not cheese one single time versus grass. Mountainous Might rush. And this gold mine is very, very close to getting himself the gold to get to the next stage. But following that, he has to go to a different gold mine. Now, there are other gold mines over here, for example. And in comes the Boulders of Doom. Oh, God, the Kwafu does so much damage. The villager's pulling off the temple. He might be able to deny the temple. Mosca is going to need to micro very, very well here. Good dodge from Mosca. Dodging everything. In comes the boulders. He hits one. There's no ballistics here. There's no... Oh, he hits 2. He hits 3. The temple is denied for the time being. More villagers are going to make their way over here. He hits... No, misses. Going after another one. Tries to hit that next one. And the villagers are safe. They... Whoop, no, they're not. This is too much. Suppe has got 700 food in the back after this. His temple is on the way, and we will see a silo coming down as Suppe says, thank you very much for your gold mine. I will start mining that right away. Hermes is on. Another Kwafu! Are you kidding me? Another Kwafu! Mosca can only chop straggler trees here. He is in a complete disarray at the start. another Kwafu. Please put a wall down. Put a wall down. Put a wall down. Put a wall down here. Oh, this is... I mean, what else could you expect from someone like Soup? This is what you expect from him. He gets a Vil pick. He gets a Vil pick. Hermes is about to be in, however, and this Kwafu is not safe. He could drop a dock down on this side if he wants to create some real pressure. We got a market coming down from Mosca to try and get himself out a Heracles or something here. Altu is about to hit this Kwafu, will go down. Pioneer's coming through, however. He does get the Haltu in. Where will... Oh, Pioneer's going after this. Where will everything go from here as the Kwafu leaves? Gonna try and keep everyone alive here with some big boulders of destruction to come down. Turns onto the Jason. Villagers quickly returning back over onto the gold mine. Mosca is not out of the woodwork just yet. Watchtowers comes through and Soup, well, he's got to get out of here. I do not know who has come out in front on this. Soup isn't done just yet. A military camp with potential for a tower attachment is the next play for Soup in his crazy world of playing this new War god. In it comes... Of course, you can move Mosca back up to the top. It's not the end of the world for Mosca. Mosca can also attempt to just charge in and kill this off. The Kwafu does how much damage? It has a bonus of how much? Okay. It's 4x, and it does 4.8 crush per second. Holy moly. All right, the military camp will be up. The villagers move around onto this side. Soup might attempt to move around here and push off of this position. Behind this, Soup literally has 1,000 food in the bank. And he finally decides to bring his Kwafu back. This military camp will not be able to push off of this wood line after all. We do see the villager coming over and saying, all right, maybe we can get some fishing ships in here. There's the pioneers charging forward. They will get greeted by a couple of Toxotes. And, well, we have a very strange game. We have a Zeus player who would normally have all the advantage going right now. We have a new War player who is now about to go heroic age. He wants his Gormang in. He's greeted pretty hard for everything. And there is also an earth wall that could potentially get dropped and catch those Toxotes out. Got more fishing ships coming up onto this side to claim all of this. Soup can grab the food over, fish onto that bottom side as well. But this is just too much for me. This is literally just too much for me. Mosca, I think he's fine now. I think he got out of the position. I think he's okay. But he's in such a strange spot now that any type of game plan that he might have had means nothing. The Kwafu hero will throw those boulders, and he could get ballistics for the Kwafu hero. That changes everything, no? His Kwafu hero is very, very low on the HP, though. That's the problem. But Soup also can just abandon this, wander up here, put a ballet down, and all of this pressure is going to be dissipating very, very quickly. Tao Wu comes through into the middle. He comes with his ballet, secures a gold mine. This peasant going to be returning in onto this side. Ballistic's still a little ways away for the Supinator, but once it's in, the scary Kwafu will be a menace. We do see Dionysus, so Mosca is back onto his game plan. He wants that Dionysus. He wants to make the Hydra. He wants to put pressure on. He didn't lose any fishing spots, but he didn't fight for any fishing spots either. Main base going down. As Soup. Where to next? Does he go Mythic Age? No. White Horse Cav and the raids. That's the next moment. Walls coming up, all up onto the top here from Mosca, protecting himself from those White Horse Cav raids. And another stable to come down. Of course, the wall that's up here from the early game, you could just go straight through that as the Tao Wu dives forward. Prevents the stable from finishing. And Soup is out of here for the time being. More eco on the way. More Kwafu on the way. Did he get the upgrade for these guys? No. Up here, stables aplenty, and Prodromus will be coming through. Soup needs to be really keyed into the fact he's playing versus a Hermes, Dionysus, Zeus here, which does feel strange. The same things apply to Poseidon that also apply to Zeus here. Prodromus, Hippias, you need to make Halberdier. The Sky Lantern coming in will reveal the Prodromus, and Halberdier are now on the way for Soup. Mosca, the big problem that he's got is how does he push this? How does he push anything else when there's going to be a forest protection? There's still not this earth wall placed, which is surprising me. I feel like an earth wall getting clicked up onto this side, maybe around the ballet, maybe around this house, maybe around the main town center. Could have been a nice way to just shut everything down here. Soup's got so many resources yet again. After such an insanely strong early game here, military camps coming up, and we see more in the way of Halberdier. He does have his upgrade for the gold, so that gold should start coming in very, very fast. He could also sell some food if he wants to. And his market is going to be going down. A little bit of value here. Super can just put the market back up if he wants to. And the main base is under attack. And Mosca is trying to make something happen here as another Hydra on the way. Soup behind this doesn't yet have himself the all-important Imperial Academy. Sages, Zhang Xia. I've been seeing Mosca getting so much value out of one Hydra, two Hydras, especially inside of this Zeus. I don't... Surely we don't see a Mythic Age here from Soup. Can he please just build some units? He's about to get attacked. Now the Halberdier are coming through. He sees the army. Loses two White Horse Cav. There's also going to be some Petrobolus on the way to maybe hit the main base. In comes Heavy Cav. Onto the back there, Thracian horses as well. Main base going to be under attack. There's no villagers here. They're all floating on the backside. More Halberdier. More White Horse Cav. There goes the ballet with that forest protection, but the Petropolis is now hitting it. A town center on the back for Soup. Meanwhile, these Hippias, well, they aren't necessarily going to be able to win these fights as the White Horse Cavalry will chase those down. The attack still mounting up onto this position. There is a very, very scary bronze from Mosca. Do we see the Imperial Academy when you see two Hydras? Looks like the answer is... He's attacking without the Heavy Horse Cav? The answer is no. Charges forward, loses the Tao Wu. More Halberdier on the way. The military differential right now is absolutely insane. 5.2k to 2.5k. In comes the Terracotta Riders. Soup says it's time to fight. Bronze gets dropped down. And Soup's sitting here. He needs to run. The Hydra up to two heads. One Hydra might go down here. It's still got... There it goes. Ballet will survive, but for just a little bit longer. Fighting underneath this forest protection is always scary. But there's just so much military for Mosca. The front line falling to the Halberdier, however. as the Pioneers trying to get in to finish off this final Hydra. Good garrison micro from Soup, but the bronze is now done. Wafu turning. There's not much remaining here. He's got still so many resources to be producing, but he doesn't have a ballet now, so he needs to start making Javelin here to deal with these Toxotes. Soup will retreat. He does have the town center advantage for the time being. Now no bronze, but Mosca, incredibly smart. Why go for a crazy push when we can just get that Hephaestus in? He found a huge amount of advantage with that bronze push. And now what happens next? The 1 HP Dream Hydra does so much damage here. Just taking out buildings, so much damage. Look at that 36 crush. 60 hack damage a second. As behind this, Soup desperately just trying to get himself out an army. He's still got this earth wall. Mind you, he's going to be making some Javelineers, and another ballet will come down onto the back here. But Hephaestus is now in. And take a look at the armory situation for Mosca. He hasn't gotten a single bronze upgraded piece of armor. He is going to be full iron very, very quickly. The military buildings, they are buying Soup a lot of time here, but I don't know what he's going to be getting from it is the thing. Javelin here pushes forward. Hydra finally gets taken out as the houses down. Soup says it's time to attack, but he's got to be so careful. Mosca will control those Toxotes impeccably well. Behind this now, town center up for Mosca, and the Plentyvault will kind of erase the villager differential. Not really. Almost. Kind of add 10 to the thing here, 57 to 67. Meanwhile, right side of the map, Wafu on this gold mine, and some very scary Hippias are after this. Does Soup see it? No. Does Mosca see it either? No. But yes, he does. He is coming in, and a third town center up onto this side as the raids are hitting both players at once. Soup does realize he's going to be pulling back those Kwafu into his main base. 1 villager down, 2 villager down, 3 villagers down. Plentyvault gets dropped. And the Kwafu for Soup dive into the town center. In onto this position, Halberdier getting that good damage done. Advantage here now for Soup on the attack as the Hippias aren't close. Those Javelineers are going to be doing a lot of good damage. The town center on the left is going to be finishing though. And now we see the incredibly powerful Bellerophon on the way. Soup charging into the main base, trying to make something happen on the backside here though. We've got a lot of Hippias though. The Kwafu say, do I care about your Hippias? Yes, he's going to be losing 1, but the Kwafu are going to take out every other Hippias up onto this side. There goes the Bellerophon, and ceasefire is clicked, which gives Mosca time. What time? Iron in. Town center up. Soup is at full population finally. He's going to be going Mythic Age. He decides to go Gong Gong. I like the idea of the Gong Gong. You get access to Tiger Cav, which you need to decimate this army composition which Mosca is building. But there is a long way to go here. Colossus is literally getting tickled there by those Javelineers. Town center coming up over onto this side. Villager gets cleaned up there as Mosca's trying to wall up the entirety of the map. Soup pulling back into his main base as Kwafu are going to move over here, put a ballet down. And Mosca, he knows that he's on somewhat of a timer here. Because if Soup gets this Mythic Age in, gets to full iron, and starts making those terrifying Tiger Cav, he doesn't have the Athena hoplites to help out. And the Tiger Cab kill everything that he's got here. Javelineer taking out the Toxotes on the backside. Halberdiers taking out the Hippias here very, very quickly. But same too is going to be happening to the Javelineers once the Halberdier frontline falls. Soup's Q huge. Same too for Mosca's. And Soup here now losing his hometown center, which is going through Gong Gong. But now the cavalry come in. The Petropoli will fall. But the cavalry, I don't think they're going to be enough here to deal with all those Toxotes, as the Javelineer numbers are incredibly small. But I think Mosca, he's still got it going. But I also think that a Gong Gong is going to hit, and those Toxotes, they are going to be getting cleaned up by a big fat God Power momentarily here. Still huge amounts of Q for Soup. He could get himself the upgrade to get those units out a little bit faster, but that's not what he wants. 6k military resources right now to 2k. As the Havoc in the main base is well and truly getting set here. In comes the Mythic Age. And there is only one usage, and that is to send those... How did they get out there? Was that from the berry bush? I've never seen that. Lots of units still remaining, and that did not help out Soup in the slightest. Halberdier coming through. Do we see the Tiger Cav on the way? It looks like the answer is no. Mosca is getting further and further in front. This push is doing so much damage here. On the backside, town center getting taken out. Soup not able to beat this army of Mosca. And after, I don't know if you could consider it a success, but it wasn't a failure. An insane early game. Mosca comes out on top with his Zeus on Budapest. A terrifying game here from Mosca, though. A perfect reaction. Dropped only one villager to that villager rush from Soup. Well, that's it there. First game in the books. And a big sigh of relief for Mosca to get through the first of what might be many cheeses coming his way. Let's jump back to the draft and see what happens for game number 2. Well, the players said, let's get ourselves these water maps out of the way right away, as Isis and Frere will be coming in onto the map Mirage. Okay. Cheese number 2. I'm going to call it. Asgardian Hillfort in your face. 3-minute advance, Asgardian Hillfort in your face. Surely. Okay. Soup might calm down. He has to win one of these water maps. He absolutely has to win one of these 2 water maps. He picked Noir for the Budapest. That's a high priority pick for him. He's picked Frev for the Mirage. Another high priority pick for him. Mosca, on the other hand, he's actually thrown in 2 of his lower prios here. This is his 2nd round pick in Isis and 3rd round pick in Zeus. Now, the question is going to be exactly what does Soup want to do. Now, Soup sometimes gets into his own head in these types of matchups. Isis is a terrifying god when left to her own devices, but Frere is a more terrifying god when left to his own devices. He doesn't have to go full crazy mode to beat the Isis here. If he is indeed scared of a Thoth type idea, Bragi always is sitting there for Frere. It's really, really good versus Isis. Isis wants to go for Elephant, with Thoth wants to go for Chariot Archers, doesn't really want to build barracks units, at least doesn't want to build Axeman if she can help it, which leaves the Herdman to get a lot of value, the Huskal to help out as well. Speed coming in from that Servants of Glory tech through Ulla 2 onto those Herdmen. It's an option, but it's a tough pill to swallow to give up A gear in this matchup as Freyr. For Isis, you're kind of rolling the dice a little bit here on having a really nice second town center. You could go for early barracks units and try and put pressure on. We'll see what Mosca's plan is going to be here. He's been very adamant to pick these Egyptian. He's had so much success with them through this tournament. But a lot of the times, it's been looking shaky. I'm not going to lie. Let's jump into game number 2 here, ladies and gentlemen. In onto the map, Mirage. Off we go. And in onto the map, Mirage, we spawn. Right side of the map, Mosca, playing as Isis. Left side of the map, Suppe, playing as Freyr. We're not going to see anything crazy here. Damn it. I was kind of hoping we'd see the hill fort rush. Pretty disgustingly strong with the gold mine spawn like this. Of course, Suppe doesn't know that that's the case. Though maybe he does. Maybe you do. Anyways. Let's check out the relics. Oh, is that priest there going to look for an obelisk just to double check and make sure he's not getting cheesed? All right, we got the Hecate's torch on the left. That's a big relic pickup for Suppe to help him out with Asgardian Bastion spammage and also potentially Second Tempests and things like that. Onto the right side, Chariot of Sibel. Nice early game relic for whomever wants to pick it up. Over onto this side, we've got that Ptah's Scepter there. Not the most important. Tons of hunt on this map. Probably not going to farm anytime soon. We do have the Feather of Jingwei here with the wood trickle. On top of this, there is a impeccable town center on this side of the map for Mosca. Elephant. Gold mine. For Suppe as well, he's got himself this position too. He's also got the town center on this right side if need be, which can be really nice to secure these positions. The obelisk is simply just going to get set up around the main town center of Suppe while this all goes on. As Mosca happily just getting his fishing ship started. Going to be dropping his temple shortly, I'm sure. And getting off to a nice start here in this game. Only 3 villages on wood. You don't really need more than 3 to have a consistent fishing ship production. On the flip side, you need a lot more on wood as the Norse, because you need to build things which cost wood. Nonetheless. Wait. Is Suppe up to no good? I thought he might drop a temple on the front here, but I think he's building another berserk to get a temple into his main base. It's going to be a dock onto this side? I think it is. He doesn't have to drop it straight away. You can start the temple first and then pop this dock in. But some cheeky shenanigans to start the game off with. There is the obelisk in from Mosca. Doesn't quite see this. There was a time here in this... There was a time here where Anubis from Isis and Set, mostly Set on Mirage, and they would click Vision and just drop Plague of Serpents onto the fishing ships for a little bit of early game value. The Suppe kind of looks like he's almost role-playing a little bit of Chronos here as the monument to the village is coming up onto this side, protecting this town center. Pickaxe on the way as well. I'd be very surprised if Mosca doesn't go for a town center in this situation. But 2 docks up for Soup. And yes, he's going to be able to put some pressure onto this. Actually here, with only having 3 villagers on wood, he's going to be able to do a lot more than just put pressure onto this water. I think he might be able to find a victory here. House going up onto this side for Mosca. As the Anubis is in. And the Berserk will attempt to escape here, but will get spotted by Mosca. And he definitely does a double take there to see what's going on. Did he see the monument? No. The town center is on the way. Because now Soup can make some decisions. Forward Asgardian Bastion. Obviously an idea. Is the Berserk going to try and take out the villager? But with that priest healing, it's very, very difficult. In fact, it's impossible, it seems. Mercer's trying to charge across the map here, but 22 seconds remaining, and the Golden Lions is what we say in the business is too much to deny a town center. Behind this, though, Dreki and the Longboat coming through. Mosca can dive onto this wood line. It's not the biggest of issues here. He can build some units straight away if need be as the Nubite comes in. So we'll be through to defend. And Mosca's got to be a little bit careful here. Wait, Soup went for Forest? I totally missed that. He went Freya. Really? Some light pressure onto the water right now. He went Freya. You can obviously burn this forest. He can't burn this one. Well, he can actually, maybe he can. He can burn it up onto this side, I guess. Town center on the right as a response. Does get spotted by Mosca, and Mosca can drop Plague of Serpents down here if he wants to. That does give a bit of favor over onto the Soup side of things, so it might not be the best of ideas. The only thing that I'm worried about here for Soup is if he goes Freya, what? You don't get that Servants of Glory, which means the Herbmen don't get the slight boost to speed, which does mean they're a little bit less effective. Normally, when you do it with Thor or Loki, you've got Forseti. And that feels good. In onto this side, Valkyrie versus Anubite shenanigans. Soup charging up onto this top position. Pharaoh there. You don't want to turn and attack the Anubite because it can just run to the Pharaoh, get healed up, and the Valkyrie sits there not being able to get that same type of service. As in comes those Dreki, the priest on the back trying to make things nice for him. A couple more cabinets come out as Soup will continue his attack here. He gets a lot of favor from this. The other thing that you get with Freya, which isn't really utilized very often, but is very strong, is if you go Bragi, you can get 7.2 speed Valkyrie. So Thundering Hooves plus the Thurazaz rune, which is pretty scary for anyone to deal with. Soup continuing to apply pressure here. Plague of Serpents now getting dropped. I think that's what Soup wanted. Get that God Power out, and then he can sit onto the back and play a slow amount of damage to take out the fish over, or not the fish, the serpents, and get some favor back there as well. As in comes the Mosca units yet again. Mosca needs to be careful not to feed this favor in as the dragon ship's just cleaning everything here beautifully. More longboats on the way. Walls coming up all over the place over here as well. Slowly starting to get things locked up. And I mean, naturally here, just grabbing a third town center probably wouldn't be a terrible idea for Mosca either. As the longboats still just happily getting tons and tons of favor in. Like you go, this is a lot of investment from Soup, right? To win 9 fishing ships worth of eco. It is. It's a huge amount of investment from Soup. But the fact of the matter is he is getting eco from it. So it doesn't even matter. And Mosca, he doesn't want to give up this position. So Mosca is spamming out Navy, which is incredibly, for lack of a better word, balanced. You've got no real advantages here outside of just having more stuff. And Suppe is just going to continue getting himself favor. He's going to be able to use that later for whatever he wants, whether it's Battle Ball or anything else. Valkyrie, like I said, Rock Giant, Fafnir, if it goes there. More God Power drops. The big thing, though, for Mosca is he's now up through Sobek, which will mean he gets a Leviathan through. But one Leviathan, I don't think it's going to be enough to really help out on this push, on this problem on the water. There goes the Leviathan. I wouldn't be surprised to see an extra one getting dropped out immediately as another fishing ship gets built. Gold Lion just checking things out, but the third town center is up. Great Halls getting dropped down. Lots of Great Halls, actually, and Longhouses, but you've got to be thinking this is probably going to be Camel Riders. We see a pretty greedy Sun-Dried Mudbrick while sitting on the front gold mine. Gets away with it. Gold Villagers on the back. No walls set up over here just yet, so those Camel Riders will come in furiously to get some damage. And we have seen time and time again Mosca getting a lot of value out of Locust swarming with his Camel Rider raids. And behind this, a very slow heroic fleet to come through, but come through nonetheless. I don't think he needs it, to be honest. I don't imagine we're going to see another Leviathan coming in. Raiding Cavalry going to get built out. Aegir is pre-queued, but Suppe isn't close to being able to get that in. And I mean, it has to be Camel Rider for Mosca right off the bat. He might go for a Mythic Age here. In comes the Locust Swarm. Huge damage onto the villagers. I said it already. I might have cursed Suppe a little bit, but Mosca so good with this Locust Swarm. And now there's a gigantic villager lead for Mosca in this game. The villagers will move back over onto the gold here. More Dreki coming in to continue putting the pressure onto this. Another Migdol stronghold up onto this side as Suppe will get sent packing. And Thoth is pre-queued for Mosca. So all this pressure onto this position has netted Suppe a pretty decent amount of favor, but he is somewhat stuck in this classical age. I do want to see him go for Bragi here because he needs to get the Swine Array tech for those Herdmen to deal with either Elephant or deal with the Camel Riders. With that prosperity coming in, huge gold income for Mosca as well. Balls will slowly come up onto this side. So the Rock is just chilling, making sure it sees everything. And Suppe, he is going Aegir. So no Herdmen, no Super Herdmen to deal with the Super Elephant that are coming or the Super Camel Riders that are coming. The one thing Suppe has going for him is 6 Great Halls, 3 Longhouses. Probably needs more of that. 3 Town Centers, so he will catch up on the villager count. That being said, Thoth gives a sort of inherent boost of about 10 villages until you're at full population with that Valley of the Kings. Now the wall's going up all over the place. And Suppe wasn't able to finish the walls up on this bottom side. And another town center as well from Mosca. And it is going to be Heavy Elephant. Raiding Cavalry coming in. There will be one Vilpic. While this is going on, an attack onto the water. He's pushed Mosca off of the fish. So where the Valley of the Kings is going to... Losing the Raiding Cavalry here. Where the Valley of the Kings is going to be a nice boost of eco. Well, Suppe has shut down a bit of a boost of eco from Mosca. There will be, of course, the War Turtle getting spawned for free to defend. And this next part of this game is going to be very telling. How much value will this Meteor get? Defensive Meteors, not that strong. Offensive Meteors, well, they are a different kettle of fish. So playing a little bit of a ring around the gate there as he pulls back. He sees the Camel Riders coming in. Herdmen are getting queued up. Now he's in the heroic age. Can start thinking about Jarls to deal with the Axemen. Herdmen to deal with anything else that's going to be coming through. The Rock simply flying in. And I think this is probably the worst usage of Meteor. He wants to drop this down on the town center. You're so happy to lose a town center to Meteor. Over on this side, there's a lot of buildings here. That's much more damage to come in, but still, I don't think that that's what Mosca wants to use this on. And he doesn't. At least not yet. In comes Tusks of Apatamak. In comes Conscript Migdol. In comes Champion War Elephants. For the moment, heavy infantry is going to take a long time to come through. The Goaty are in. They can take out the Phoenix quickly, but Soup needs to pay attention to that. Herser pulling away. Axemen do get some damage done, as we will see. The Meteor on the way. Soup needs to back up, but he is going to take a small amount of damage as the Meteor just falling in love with those 3 units on the bottom. Houses going down, and that Meteor, well, he rolled the dice on it. That Meteor was not value in the slightest there. One Goaty and a Dream versus this Phoenix. As the Dwarves getting taken down quickly. It is an equal villager differential at the moment as the Goaty take out the Phoenix. Up onto this side, though, town center under attack. There is access to a Gullenbursty and access to a Tempest here, which probably should be getting dropped down as Soup coming through. Will we see it? He drops the taunt onto the Axemen. Herdmen bringing themselves over onto those War Elephant. They'll take him out quickly. There goes the Tempest. Any type of Gullenbursty here to clean everything else up? No, doesn't need it. Holding on to it for later. More elephants on the way, though. But I'll be honest, I think Bragi here would have been a way better call. He would have won that fight regardless. And he would have had even stronger Herdmen. But up onto the top side, raids coming through here as Soup needs something on the left side and the right side to help him hold on in this game. Berserk's doing well. Herdman doing well. Raiding Cavalry can come in and clean up those Chariot Archers. Chariot Archers are no good without Micro, as they will go down quickly to the Herdman regardless. Behind this, there's 200 favor. Rock Giants are a must build for Soup at the moment. Champion Chariot Archers come through. Mosca is technically on a timer here in this game. The longer this game goes on, the further or the harder it is to actually kill off this Frere into a point where the units just become insanely strong. Now, Soup is trying to make a decision between whether he wants to go Mythic Age or spam units out, and he does decide the spammage of units is going to be the way to go. Herdman charging forward. They'll take down those elephants relatively quickly, but he has to get onto that backline. There is the Forest Fire available here if you want to drop that for a pretty decent amount of damage there. The rare elephant raids down onto the bottom. Villagers finishing on this gold mine. They can move on to the gold mine to the bottom there too. Soup's got idle villagers everywhere at the moment. Struggling to survive versus this timing, but Mosca is hit. Elephant over here. He can do nothing but convert into Berserks, and Berserk conversion he does. The Forest Fire is still available here, but Soup will tap out. And that there is game 2 for Mosca. It's a very, very good start from Soup in this game, but I feel like he just fell to pieces after the Thoth spammage pain train started up. One thing you have to remember is if you can prevent fighting versus the ISIS, that Valley of the Kings is no longer a threat. Of course, he's going to push So you don't need to attack into the Thoth. You don't have to attack into the Isis. It slowly falls off as the game goes on. So fighting underneath hill forts, playing defense, that's the way to go here. But Soup doesn't really do that, and he can't stabilize after the Mythic Age spike. And that there is game 2 in the books, as Mosca is 2 wins from his ticket to Athens. Let's drop back to the drafting menu and see what game 3 is going to look like. All right, game 3. Amaterasu versus Quetzalcoatl. What's the map? The map is Elysium. All right. All right, guys. We got about 2 minutes. We're off into the next game. I don't know a whole lot about this specific matchup. Amaterasu, I don't know. Quetzalcoatl, I don't know. I'd love to give you some wild take, but we'll see. Mosca is looking so strong at the moment. Soup is on his Quetzalcoatl, which he's had a lot of success with. But, I mean, there's just so many ways that this can go wrong for you versus the Amaterasu. So he's got to be patient. He's got to not take any crazy fights and see what's going to be happening. All right. Well, Tunison says, I think this is going to be a quick 4-0. Well, it's looking that way. First game was pretty close, to be honest. I think that with a little bit more clean play from Soup, it could have gone the other way. Second game as well. I think Soup just got a little bit flustered against the timing. But this just looks out. Whenever Soup loses, it looks, how do I put this? It just looks like it's such a disastrous loss when he loses. But when he wins, it looks like a masterpiece. So you can never relax versus Soup, because he has the potential to pull both things out very, very quickly. All right, guys, we're going in onto the map Elysium. Let's check it out. Where is Elysium? Off to the races we go. In the right-hand corner of the map, we've got Mosca playing as Amaterasu. And in the left-hand corner of the map, we have Soup as Quetzalcoatl. The map is Elysium. It is now currently 2-0 for Mosca. We've seen Soup fall in the finals once before to Recon. It was a 4-0. This series is looking similar with the start. Mosca Two, I wouldn't say clean wins, but two solid wins. So the question is here, can Suppe figure out what's going wrong for him in this game, in this series, and clean it up? Because he is getting good positions. This is not like Mosca is just pushing early and dominating early. No. Suppe is getting good positions, and Mosca is playing incredibly well to find wins where that's concerned. The early temple coming up from Mosca. He actually doesn't go for... Wait, did he not? He doesn't go for the Kagura technology here. A little bit surprising there. Normally you see people grabbing that Kagura technology. That pops out, and then you get this... Well, your second Miko pops out when that completes, and then you get yourself another temple. Into this top side, Kitsune from Mosca, searching around. There's a pretty nice back town center here. And same too is true for Mosca. Back Gazelle, kind of close second gold mine. This gold mine's looking much, much closer though. It might just be my craziness going on, but... And in comes Patakatl. Minakata Tommy. No real surprises on the minor god choice. Maybe Huawei with the fast heroic in for the Eagle Warriors could be an option. Don't really have a great response to that as Japan outside of making Shinobi, which means you also have to go to the Mythic Age. Oh, sorry, Heroic Age. In comes the Kagura tech. In comes the Miko. Up comes the Shrine. And this is going to be the Shrine of the Hunt, which will protect his gold mine from any types of early game pressure, raids, and all the other good stuff.
Nani?
Harmonia's necklace picked up for Mosca as well, and I guess from here he's going to look over onto this one, but Chocolatl goes into the hands of Suppe as the Miko is not allowed that success there. This is a big relic to be picking up. 4% extra HP on everything. I mean, it doesn't seem like that much. Like only 4%. I mean, that's the difference between dying in, let's just say, 5 hits versus dying in 6 hits, which ends up being quite a lot in an actual fight. The warrior priests and bunny rabbits making their way out across the map as a shrine has been spotted. But here's the thing. I've seen this before. These type of early attacks with the warrior priests get met by Naginata riders. And of course, the Naginata riders at the moment don't have the advantage, but soon they will. And the Mosca Shrine might get taken down, but this is a lot of risk without any... Oh, now the spearmen are coming in, though. That's exactly what Suppe needs. He definitely needs those Thalmani spearmen. Otherwise, he's going to have some problems here. And there comes the problems. The Naginata riders are more than happy to trade a little bit of HP for Bushido. Lamiko gets the heals in. We've got a samurai through as well. Now, the warrior priests are pretty good, actually, at taking out the samurai. One spearman here is going to be scary, though. It's just one, but it's scary. As the priests see the one Yudo and they go, I want to kill it. Not able to do so, but there is the Kusanagi there to take out as well. As the bunny rabbit on top of the samurai. Not able to take that down, but tiny little bits of Bushido on the way. Suppe behind here. Just a little bit of issues with the food. He moves on to his forward Kalpuli situation here. And, I mean, this has been something that he was punished for doing against grass. There's no protection on this position. And I'm sure Mosca is going to be heading over there Any spearmen on this position? Answer, no. I mean, one option is to drop the tree down just so he can turn around and shank and fight, and then all that other good stuff as the units will pull back for the defense. We've got another Galbuli coming up onto this side. I don't like the idea of splitting villages up when you're playing against Cav. And Mosca, he very much... Ooh, I don't know if he was paying attention. He's checking out the back hunt here. But I don't think Suppe was paying attention either here. Now the Naginata Riders completely miss the hunt into the main base. They go. Armory coming up as the Galpuli Lumber Outpost will get a little bit of damage done, but that is a dead villager. And that is a nice find from Mosca. Mosca as well going to be thinking about his own heroic age. He wants Rai Jin, as the villagers do need to actively run from those Naginata Riders, otherwise they'll get a couple pokes off and just run away. And again, this villager might be worthwhile just bringing it back home. Koyol Zhaokui is actually the god of choice here for Suppe. That might be a little bit offbeat. Normally we've been seeing the other option with the Earth Monster and the String of Hearts and things like that. But this here will give access to the Shorn one for very, very cheap. You get that Koyol Zhaokui's stone. Makes everything really cheap. And the upgrades, we're going to have some noble huts coming through as well. Suppe for the moment is not pre-queued or not auto-queued villagers in his town center. This is something that haunts every top player. Oh no. Literally haunts every top player. And he doesn't start the villagers back up. He is bringing his villagers back. He might notice the town center not training villagers. Click this temple. He wants his stone. Alternatively, he could just be going... No, there's no way he just goes full all in here, right? Walls up onto this side. Oh, the villagers start. The villagers start. It's okay. Everyone calm down. Everyone calm down. Eagle Warrior. Spearman. And a slow and steady race for what? He got the stone, but he didn't put a great temple down. Mosca is slowly expanding out, going to get himself his gold mine. No problems. You know, the reason we bring up the auto queue on the town center, the villages, is you've just seen so many games, so many tournament games just end in ruin. I think I've seen one game where someone forgot to build it, forgot to build villages, and managed to win. And that's just because, well, it was a full all-in, full population attack, so to speak. Naginata Riders coming back out again. The turtle from this Mosca Amaterasu is so tight, but it is allowing Suppe quite a bit of play here, as he's going to be going up for the Sensen Huitznahua, which obviously is a very, very big upgrade for his Starfall. Sits in the middle over here, just searching around for stuff, but there's nowhere to raid. We're going to see a Mythic Age? What's the plan here? Where's the Great Temple? Maybe Suppe's plan is mass myth units? He's getting himself this technology here for penance. I can't say that other word. That's too hard. Mass sits in the middle as an idea here with a big sacrifice and a crazy all-in. We've got the Hanya Mask coming in. More units coming through. It's going to be Shinobi. It's going to be all that other good stuff. As now the Great Temple is on the way. And then one thing here, because Soup isn't applying pressure, Mosca not applying pressure, this Bushido is ticking in very, very slowly. Bushido tier 2 is now through, but ticking in very, very slowly. No fighting, no Bushido, no Tenali, no free favor. The Agave Bloom almost getting finished up. The gold mine in the main base almost getting finished up. And here's the big problem for Soup to overcome and think about. Mosca, he is sitting back massing units. Soup here, he is sitting back considering a Mythic Age. He's pre-queued it. There is a big timing coming his way. There's always one unit to be worried about. There's 3 Raiju. There's 4 on the Musha. And Mosca, he doesn't know this for certain, but Tlaloc on the way. A little bit of pressure with the Eagle Warriors. You don't want to get too out of position with this. This is like playing with Chariot Archers and raiding. You don't really want to do that with the Eagle Warriors, especially not with the 6.1 speed Raiju out either. Still more units coming in. Even if Soup gets this Tlaloc in, he still needs to get an army out. I don't know if Pillar of Tlalocan is going to be enough, though we can potentially just drop it on the main base, cause mass problems. Now, in comes Tlaloc. Onto the back. Market coming up. Agave Bloom still has a little bit of food remaining. This big army of Mosca is ready for action. And Soup, he is sitting back saying, come at me, good sir. Now, of course, there will be both the Starfall and this huge Thunderburst coming in. Soup drops down the Tailwind to try and get out of here. He does manage to do so. Lots of units low HP for the moment as the Great Temple is going to be getting targeted down. Losing that Great Temple does mean no Sean 1, which are a must build for him with all those Shinobi on the way. And has Soup's Max Greed been caught out yet again? In come Eagle Warriors. Big damage from Mosca. He's exploding out onto the map. Soup pulling back here. The Shinobi can go after the main town center. Villagers pulling off of this wood line. All the army of Soup is incredibly low HP. I mean, even if he drops the Pillar of Tlalocan in the main base to defend, those Shinobi can just kill him. And I think Soup has just been annihilated in this game. And now the town center is just going to drop. His town center gets taken out. No Mythic Age. And that there is game. As Soup taps out. And we are left wondering what would have happened had Soup just gone for a better scouting idea. He got the scout with the Eagle Warriors. He saw the army. Could have spammed Sean 1. He could have spammed out more units. He didn't have to go for this Mythic Age. He wanted it. He wanted the max greed for it. But these timings are impressive from Mosca. Mosca has come in with a ridiculously good plan for this series. He has an incredible understanding of what Soup is going for, and he is punishing every attempt that Soup is making in this game, in this series. It is now 3-0 for Mosca. Let's jump back over to the draft and see what Game 4 is going to look like. Or if we're just going to be saying hello to Mosca in Athens. Alrighty. Our next game. Oops, the players were on the wrong side. Our next game is on Blue Lagoon. And this is going to be a really strange game to see for game number 4. Because Soup is playing Gaia. Soup is playing Gaia. This is not his god. He'll play Kronos, and he will play a Uranos, well, a Kronos style of Uranos, but you cannot do that with Gaia. Or can you? We've already seen one time Leto be incredibly effective. Each qualifier final has been really one-sided. Yeah, that's kind of been the case. I do have that feeling for sure. Well, Super's performed one reverse sweep today. Maybe he's going to be able to make it happen again. Who knows? Has the World Cup final started yet? Have they actually done the kickoff? Or are we still waiting on that one? Still pre-game show? It has started. Oh, sorry, guys. Alrighty. Game 4. Shenong versus Gaia on Blue Lagoon. Could be the last game, or could be the start of the most epic reverse sweep you've ever seen. Let's jump into Blue Lagoon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a strange one for game 4. One of these players is not on a god that I've seen him play very much of, and it's not Mosca. I've seen Mosca playing quite a bit of Shenong. That player is Mr. Ace's Husk Soup. And Soup is doing something that makes me very, very excited. The oracles are coming out. And the favor spam begins. We did see this. Who played this? I saw it very recently. I think it was versus Shenong, and it might have also been versus Soup as well. No, it was Matador. Was it Matador versus Grass? I can't even remember.
Herr Joe's?
Mana coming down. Pioneer trying to scout things out. Sees the really early temple. I think Mosca knows what's coming already. Hero Oracle's already gotten converted as Tawara taught his last arrow to come in to add insult to injury there for how much difficulty the early game is in this matchup. Those are some really powerful Terma that are going to be smacking away at Pioneers and getting a lot of value versus some other stuff like the Javelineers as well. There's also Tail Feathers of Heaven, though, on the bottom side of the map. The big thing here for Mosca, I have a feeling that if you see Leto, it's more than okay to just stay one town center, rush for a heroic age. And then I think you're in a much better spot than going for a far second town center or something like that, because you get Fey Beasts, you get out the Zhangxia, you get out potential Sages. maybe that's an option here for Mosca. You also get the Super Dow Swordsman, that you can actually kill off the automaton as well. I haven't seen anyone trying that, but that might be an idea. And Leto, now on the way. Soup did cancel the villages again. I can't understate it, but if you ever cancel villages to put an advance time in, as soon as you click the advance, the next action needs to be to start villages again. Without question. My poor heart can't take this anymore. Okay, the villages are starting. It's fine. Oracles are under attack. There are 5 of them. Potentially also 6 coming in. Lots and lots and lots of favor income for the moment here. So, tiny bits of value to come in from Mosca as he charges forward. We will see an immediate counter barracks into the main base here. A military camp from Mosca. So he wants to play somewhat of a one town center defense here in the classical age. As the spider eggs coming down on this position. Not going to be spotted by Mosca, but the entrance into the Soup base is going to be very, very difficult. Over on this side, the Sky Lantern sees the oracles from Soup. Javelineers on the way. Now the counter barracks on the way. Now, I've seen many Leto failings. You really have to know the ins and outs of automaton spam to make this work, to understand. If your opponent is playing one town center, you got to be patient. If he's playing 2 TC, it's time to get aggressive. For the moment here, Mosca has his military camp up. He is building himself Wuzu Javelineers in the main base. As the Pioneer's Sky Lantern spots that Oracle yet again as the Yatsa is searching around for oracles to take out. More Terma are coming through. He can charge forward, drop Spider Lair here. Potentially drop Spider Lair over onto this side. The Yatsa from Mosca coming straight up onto this side. The Oracle here for Soup. Looks like that's going to be first blood. And Soup drops a cheeky little Spider Lair on the back here. And the Wuzu Javelineer are going to be coming through. Automatons need to pull back. And Soup's still looking for a lot of pressure here. I'm scared for Soup here, but also on the flip side, Mosca, he wants to get a heroic agent. I'm not surprised about this. This makes a lot of sense. One town center, semi-fast heroic against the automaton spam. Soup's not going to be able to get a lot of value here. Javelineer control there from Mosca, incredibly effective, incredibly powerful. And, well, I've seen this a million times. How is Soup going to deal with Fey Beasts? The most simple of answers to this type of play. Soup charges forward, picks off one Pioneer. The armory is up. And Rushol is queued in. Automatons get a little bit of damage done. Got to be careful. Of course, they don't really take much damage here at all. In comes Channels. The Yatsa is continuing to hunt these oracles, though. Soup, he's got 2 more queued up behind everything as the Terma charge forward. They will kill off a lot of these units. A lot of those Javelineers are falling as the military camp is slowly getting taken out. Onto this backside. Oracle number, I think, how many? He's killed 2 Oracle kill number 3 coming in there for Mosca's Yahtzee. That's just one Yahtzee. That's kind of brutal. Another Oracle over here going to get caught as Soup has to garrison into his mana. Garrison onto the other side as well as say goodbye to Yahtzee number... Well, kills 3. But Yahtzee number 1. Imperial Academy going to come up. Now, Soup doesn't have to keep building automatons here either, but he does have to be aware that a Heroic Age is coming and Fey Beasts will literally just get dropped right onto these units, and all of those Terma are going to be dying. Literally all of the Terma are going to be... You got to turn and fight it. You can't run. You have to turn and fight it. The automatons are dying. And Mosca has absolutely dominated this early stage of the game with a hard counter to the automaton ways of Soup here. And all the Terma die, and I think Mosca, I mean, he's just gonna take it. Soup doesn't want any more. He didn't read the Heroic Age coming in, and maybe an early tap out, but a tap out nonetheless from Soup as a 4-game series win for Mosca. Congratulations, where congratulations are due. Dominated from start to end. I think he went undefeated. Completely undefeated in this playoff. This was some incredibly clean Age of Mythology from start to end. Doing it with his favorite Poseidon, doing it with the Greeks when people are saying Greeks are bad, just being an absolutely dominating machine of an Age of Mythology player. Soup went for his strats, did not work out here. Well, we're going to jump over to the main menu and say goodbye.